Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody here who has joined us on our program tonight. As we've been doing for quite some time, we're going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance and the United States National Anthem. I would ask now that everyone please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome, straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Oh yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it.
America's finest, United States Army Barbershop Quartet, performing at the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015. We appreciate these men and women of our armed forces. That is one of the reasons we have stayed with this particular rendition of the national anthem. We love and appreciate our servicemen and women in the world, wherever they might be. We also want to give thanks to them and our allied military forces, wherever you might be. God bless you. May you all return home to your families in safety when your tours of duty end. And thank you all for your service. Thank you so much, guys and gals. We love you and appreciate you very much. I want to give thanks to some people that have been supporting our program. We have been privileged to have acquired 3 more donations to our program. Our dear friend and family member Donna Howard also sent us a donation over on PayPal. Catch 'em All also sent a good sized donation to our program on PayPal. Our friends Eddie and Ginger Adair in Oceanside, California sent us a neat little card saying thank you and sent us a donation. Inside it says, thank you for all you do. We appreciate all the information that you have given us, mixed with your experience and your Christian point of view. We've been watching since the pandemic. Sorry we haven't donated until now. God bless Eddie and Ginge Adair in Oceanside, California. We want to thank all of those who donate to our program, whether it be on PayPal, whether it be on Venmo, whether it be to our post office box that you see on our banner here in front of you tonight. We appreciate all of those who have given us super chats as well. God bless you all. We appreciate your support in keeping this program on the air and doing everything you can to help us do what we need to do to make sure you all have information that you need and that you can use. We thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. God bless you all. Folks, we have quite a few things we want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about Maui. I am not going to let Maui just go away. It's not going to happen. Okay? There was an interview done by the News Nation of a couple that was put into motel rooms after they treaded water for probably 2 hours that fateful day in August 8th. They did not have recourse. They had no other choice but to tread water out there in the harbor. I want you to hear this story. It means a lot to everybody that hears it. Here is a story, okay? They're not getting any help from the federal government.
To describe being out in the ocean, not knowing where you are, and being on fire, not knowing where land is. At points, the current's pulling us out where we can't touch the ground. At times, I remember just telling her to make sure that she saves herself. Don't worry about, if I start drowning out here, you save yourself.
You save yourself. Those heartbreaking words from a couple who lost almost everything in the Maui wildfires. Mike and Andresa Chiquino were left homeless and unemployed after the fire burned through their home and businesses. And the couple, as you heard, they said they treaded hours before they were rescued. Well, now, Mike and Andresa, I know that you prefer not to speak today. I appreciate you being here as well. Mike, can you tell us what life has been like for these nearly 20 days after this fire? How are you both doing?
It's been tough, not only emotionally, but financially. We feel like we're not really getting any of the assistance that we need, which a lot of other people feel the same way. Mr. Garcia, the person you're speaking to before, for us, hit it on the nose. We are the 50th state here, and we're not being treated like we're U.S. citizens. We feel like we just got out of a fight for our life. Now we're back in another fight for our life, to find home, to find a place to rest our head just that night. I think I mentioned that we were not getting any help from federal government so far. Some people, I'm guessing, are getting the 700. We never received the 700, which, wouldn't go very far here in Hawaii. We're mostly getting help from private organizations, nonprofits, but even we're having trouble using their resources because Airbnb has been very difficult throughout all of this. It's been really tough. We just want to heal emotionally, but in order to do that, we need to know where we're going to live.
Yeah, and when I speak with you, it's sort of this sense of everyone out for themselves, and you're sort of out there alone, having to figure it out. Last 20 days, not only the emotional trauma of over this, and Andresa, we are nearly 20 days out, and I can see how emotional this is for you still, how hard this is to talk about.
It's so hard.
I really appreciate you being here. I really do. What has it been like these last 20 days? Do you feel that the federal government has your back? Do you feel that you're getting the help you need?
No. Absolutely not. And if you probably ask most local, we feel like we're not getting any help out here, at least from the federal government. They are helping, from what I understand, down on the ground to look for bodies, to clear out rubble, those type of things. But as far as the people that were displaced financially, they've been no help. They're basically asked, they act like they're the concierge service, kind of. Call this organization, they might be able to help you. Call this organization, they might be able to help you. But that's it. They even, as far as financially, said that we can apply for a loan, but we're not thinking about borrowing money from, we don't know how we're even going to pay back if we take a loan. So we're scared to even take, feel that it's unfortunate that, the government taxes that it's, at least let us borrow money and then we can pay it back. But, we shouldn't be paying interest on it.
Yeah. I do want to ask you about the lawsuit that Maui County filed against Hawaiian Electric. They claim that it was the utility's power lines which were not proper in those heavy winds and sparked, causing the fire. What is your take on this? Is this the right move?
I believe it is. I believe they need to be held accountable. They knew about that this could have happened a long time ago. There's so many things that they could have put in place to prevent this from happening over the years. We had a fire about 5 years ago that almost burned down our whole town. They haven't really done anything. Yeah, they need to be held accountable for what they did and what they're continuing to do to us.
And Mike, can I ask, the last time we spoke, the sense I got from you is that you feel that Americans in the continental U.S. don't really understand, that we're not being told the truth of what is happening there. What is the truth of what is happening on the ground where you are?
Well, first, I know in the beginning I felt like our local government wasn't being transparent. I feel like they've been getting a lot of pressure, so things have started to change in that area. They are trying to be a little bit more transparent, but there's not much they can really do. But on like a federal level, there's been absolutely no help. Like I mentioned, it's just organizing us. We feel like a lot of the people's fault if they live in the, they're not the ones in charge of the government. The government's supposed to be the one that's taking care of us and helping us. Actually, people from all over the world, Texas, California, Japan, that's how we've been surviving right now, is they've been donating to our GoFundMe. They've been helping out other people's GoFundMe. So I highly encourage that people out there that do want to help, go on GoFundMe, look for people that have been in that wildfire, because that's how we're surviving. If we didn't have you, we'd be in a lot more trouble than we are. And there's people that are in worse situations than we are right now, and they need your help too, not just us.
Mike and Andresa Chiquino, I always appreciate your time, and thank you so much for taking the time to check back in with us. Wishing you all the best.
Okay, this actually came to us from a U.S. Senator here on the mainland, because the news coming out of Hawaii is filtering out little bit by little bit. The Kachinos don't have anything. They're sitting back and they're using money that they personally have saved. And when that runs out, it's gone. No matter what else happens, it's gone. Even that money that Oprah and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson gave the people in Maui, it has not come out yet. It has not been released. The citizens of Maui were told by Oprah and The Rock that the money was forthcoming, and it hasn't been. Someone came out and said it was $10 billion. It was not. It was $10 million. $10 million. But it has not yet been released to the people of Maui. there is a huge story behind all of this. And I'm working on finding all of the information to give it to you. Because quite frankly, folks, it's pretty bad. And I don't believe it's going to get any better. The information that I have gathered is not good at all. The government continues to hide information. They continue to deny anything that comes out showing their guilt about anything. They spoke about Hawaiian Electric being responsible. To a certain extent, that might be entirely probable, but it wasn't just Hawaiian Electric. It was a county. It was a state not allowing Hawaiian Electric to do their job. Now, Hawaii Electric is suing the government of Hawaii. Both Mayor Bisson and Governor Josh Green, they're suing them. Now, there's a lot of stuff happening. As I spoke about this about a week or so ago, approximately 1 month before the fire started, Mayor Bisson, the emergency manager over there in Maui, and the governor, Josh Green, attended an emergency preparedness seminar over in Maui with all of the other representatives from the first responders, the emergency preparedness officers, both at the state and the county level. And other islands were also involved. All of the counties of Hawaii were there participating in this meeting. The governor signed a law into effect that said that if the area of Maui was destroyed by wildfire, destroyed by natural disaster, not just wildfire, but natural disaster, the law would give him authority to do whatever he deemed necessary to rebuild the area in whatever way that he wanted to build it, regardless of Hawaiian traditions, regardless of cultural ideas and ideologies, or the religious aspects of the Hawaiian people. It would give Governor Josh Green authority to do whatever he wanted to do. And also, I reminded you all at that time when we talked about this that there were developers that wanted to develop 50 acres over there in West Maui where the fires were. Before the fires started, those 50 acres of property, those 50 acres of ground, were sensitive. They had Hawaiian people's homes on them. Homes that those people were not willing to sell and still are not willing to sell. But the governor has basically taken over West Maui and Lahaina. Now, I have some evidence about how the fire started, and I'm still trying to vet it, but I will tell you right now. There has been enough evidence come forward that I can talk about this, because I believe it is correct. The government is going to scrape that area of ground. They're going to go down 6 inches and scrape that entire area. Now, well, I'm just going to spill it because I do have enough information to back it up. Military members who went in there, the National Guard who went in there, first responders who went in there with military background, dog teams that went in there, both military and civilian cadaver teams went in there to find bodies. And what they found was that the bodies had severe burns on them. Burns that reminded them of napalm. Napalm was used in Vietnam and World War II. When the military dropped that chemical on occupants and the foliage in those areas, it lit it on fire. It killed people. We were told that the temperatures that existed on the ground in West Maui and Lahaina were upwards of 1,700 to 2,400 degrees Fahrenheit. How hot does napalm burn? 2,400 degrees Fahrenheit. So all this information is coming together, folks, and it makes good sense. I'm not saying things that other people have not said. I'm reporting to you and the world what I believe has happened here. The government wanted that property, and they knew dang well that Maui was not for sale. But the government wanted it, so they burned it to the ground. Mayor Bisson was asked last week after a press conference. Actually, during the press conference, he was asked, how many children have been killed? You must know how many children have been identified. And he was tight-lipped. And in fact, police officers there with Maui Police Department pushed that reporter. Pushed and shoved that reporter. And when the reporter was being pushed and shoved, he asked who it was that was pushing and shoving him. The people that pushed and shoved him identified themselves as plainclothes Maui police. Pushing and shoving is an assault and battery case. Any time you use force of any kind. This, folks, raising my hand like this, if there was someone in front of me, this would be considered an assault, because my hands are up, ready to take care of business if I have to. This is an assault without physical force, without touching anybody. Just this idea of my hand doing this towards anyone. This is considered an assault. When you actually touch someone, that is criminal battery. That is considered criminal battery. When you touch someone with physical force, that is battery. And quite honestly, it doesn't even have to be force where someone is pushed back. If someone says that they don't want to be touched and they're touched, that is considered battery. Sexual battery, if it's in a sexualized manner, or battery if anybody gets touched or manhandled in any way, shape, or form. So those alleged police officers that allegedly pushed and shoved that reporter committed assault and battery on his person. They have a right to tell him to back off. If they lay hands on him, they should have arrested him. Not just pushing and shoving, but he should have been arrested. Because they did tell him to step back and he did not do that. I heard the conversation. But they pushed and shoved him. That is criminal battery. Okay? Assault is the very action that someone would take before they actually touch someone. This is assault. The touching of someone is battery. Okay? So folks, that is what happened. That is exactly what happened. Now, the authorities, Maui Police Department, Mayor Bisson's office in Maui, have not given out any information whatsoever as to who those victims are and how many victims they have. Like I told you, they had identified 115 victims. Excuse me, they said they had 115 victims. They identified 7 people. Physically identified 7 people. The hospital morgue in Maui contains 700 bodies. It's full. At the Maui Police Department, they have 9 refrigerator trucks, or they had 9 refrigerator trucks containing 40 bodies apiece. You do the math. $40 times 9. You do the math on that. Plus 180 bodies that floated to shore on the beaches of Lanai, a nearby island further northwest of Maui. So we have 189 victims, 700 more. That is 889 victims just right there. Then we have another bunch of victims. 360 more victims. What about all of the others that have not been identified yet? Okay? You tell me what we need to do. We want and demand answers out of the government of Maui and the Hawaiian state. We demand answers, Governor Green, Mayor Bisson, Police Chief Pelletier, and if you cannot give us the answers immediately, you need to resign your jobs. You need to absolutely leave your jobs because you're not doing what the people have asked you to do. Quit. Stop horsing around and resign from your jobs. Hurricane Heather is saying what I've been saying all along. Where are the children? Me personally, I demand to know where the children are. There are all kinds of rumors all over the internet, all over the communities about where those children are. We demand answers, Hawaii. And like I said, if you can't give us the answers, you better the hell resign. Because you will be arrested. You will be arrested. Now, I have another story here I want to tell you about. Actually, two more stories, and then we're going to talk about the earthquakes in Southern California. This is something that I want you to have, all the information about the earthquakes in Southern California. First, I want to talk about mask mandates. Most of you want answers about what is going on, and I want those answers as well. On Monday, school children returned to school districts in Maryland State, in northeastern United States. The 2023-2024 school year has started. A Maryland elementary school has reinstated mandates for face coverings because 3 or more individuals allegedly tested positive for CV. An email was sent out to parents that said, quote, students and staff in identified classes or activities will be required to have face coverings while in school for the next 10 days, except while eating or drinking. Isn't that interesting? Okay? They want people to get nourishment and sustenance, but are they going to separate people and students by 6 feet while they're eating and drinking? It's very interesting to see what's going on. The Rosemary Hills Elementary School principal, Rebecca Irwin Kennedy, sent a letter to parents yesterday informing them of the policy. Principal Kennedy also said in the email that at-home rapid test kits will be sent home and made available for students, and that students who develop symptoms should stay home from school and be tested for the virus. A DC elementary school is saying that they are reinstating the mandate. The N95s for third graders over a few kids testing positive. This is what it says. They're coming with masks for your kids. Again, get ready. This is insanity. Montgomery County Public Schools Spring 2023 face covering policy is voluntary except as required by the agency that we spoke about. Okay? The agency that we have been talking about all along. This agency right here. The policy is voluntary except as required by these people here, and their guidelines for isolation for individuals who become sick at school or are returning after minimum 5-day isolation period, adding that the face coverings may be temporarily recommended or required in local outbreaks of respiratory illness. The MCPS lifted its original mandate in March 2022 last year, nearly a year and a half ago. There has been no statewide face covering requirement since then. When contacted, Rosemary Hill's staff referred to a national review to the district's main office, which hasn't yet returned a request for comment. I also called them and they hung up on me. It's not known right now whether or not students can opt out of the mandate, but the letter does not indicate that such an option is available. The return to mandatory face covering in schools marks the beginning of an already tumultuous school year for the Maryland school districts. Multiple religious families brought a lawsuit against the school districts this summer after the district removed opt-out options. The district removed opt-out options for gender and sexuality curriculum. Parents also took the district to court over its gender policy that conceals a child's gender status from their parents. Recently, they promoted a principal with 18 counts of sexual assault, harassment, and bullying reported against him, and they only investigated his conduct after a bombshell Washington Post report. This is what they're doing to our children. They keep people in power. They keep principals in place that have assault and harassment convictions or charges against them. And they're continuing their harassment of our children and the parents by not reporting what is going on in the schools to the parents, because they believe that they are the only people that can teach our children. They're full of crap. That school district removed opt-out options for gender and sexuality curriculum. In other words, forcing every child to be subjected to sexuality indoctrination in the schools. And they let principals that have sexual assault charges and harassment charges against him, they keep him in place. Isn't that interesting? Face covering mandates are returning to companies and healthcare facilities in New York, California. Morris Brown College in Georgia also reinstated a 2-week cover policy in August. Anthony Fauci, the very dirtbag that went to ball games during the height of the pandemic, and he himself did not have a face covering, but other people in the stadium were required of it. He also stated that the face coverings do not do anything to keep anyone protected from anything, any kind of virus. The paper or cloth face coverings do not protect anyone, because the tiny molecules involved here are tiny enough to get through the particles of paper or cloth of the covering. So it doesn't matter whether they want the mandates come forward or not. The face covering does not do anything to protect anyone, whether it's someone that's wearing it to try to protect him or her from getting anything from somebody else, or someone else having something transferred to them. Fauci said that, and yet they're still going with this face covering mandate. It's crap. Joyce Rod says, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore, and I'm not going to either. That's a promise. Anthony Fauci told Americans on Saturday to listen to that organization that I just showed you right here. Fauci told Americans on Saturday this past weekend to listen to these people and their own recommendations for face coverings as CV cases rise, because they know for a fact what they are doing. They know their tests don't do anything but put out false positives. Yeah, folks, I have proven that in past programs. Unreal. Even though doctors said in 2020 that the face coverings don't provide perfect protection for anyone, whether people think they do or not. They don't provide coverage for anyone. Now, that is a fact. I cannot even believe it. To say I'm incensed is beyond even thinking of it. I'm more than incensed, I'm outraged, and so you should be too. I'm not telling you what you should think or what you should do, but I'm telling you what I feel. I'm just telling you what I feel. Now, I want to give you an update on what happened over in Nevada with Burning Man. Burning Man finally ended Tuesday night after the rain finally stopped, and vehicles started leaving yesterday. What you see here is all that's left of the Burning Man wooden statue that they had put up there near the entrance to the Burning Man facility in Nevada. Burning Man is over. People have been trying to leave Burning Man since last Friday. They're walking out and they're driving out. Yesterday I showed you 18 lanes of traffic trying to get out of Burning Man and go their way back to Black Rock Desert, which is a town there in Nevada. James Breckus gave us a $5 super chat. He says, I don't get mad, I give. And I agree. I totally agree with you, James. I appreciate that super chat as well. Thank you so much for that. But Burning Man is over. As you can see, the skies have started clearing and things are getting somewhat better out there in the desert. The playa out there, the desert area, is a former lake bed. And when that little bit of rain, that inch or two of rain that they had in 24 hours, flooded it out. There was almost 3 feet of water at one point in some areas. Totally flooded them out. Things are getting better out there in the Black Rock Desert. It's incredible, guys. It's absolutely incredible out there. If anything else happens, we will let you know. But I have more information about this yet. I want you to know what's going on out there. Authorities have identified the victim that we spoke about during the past few days since Friday at the Burning Man Festival in Nevada. When it started, the rains just trapped everyone. 70,000+ people were trapped. Deborah G just gave us another $10 super chat donation. Thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciated that. God bless you for that, guys. You guys are awesome. I really believe you are awesome. God bless you very much. Anyway, the person that died, his name was Leon Reese, R-E-E-C-E, R-E-E-C-E. He was age 32. He was found unresponsive about 6:24 p.m. local time as the area was being inundated with rain. Pershing County Sheriff Jerry Allen said in a statement Monday night, per the Daily Beast, the New York Post, and the Reno Gazette-Journal. Pershing County Dispatch, police dispatch, received a call regarding a male subject who was on the ground and unresponsive at the Burning Man Festival. Medical personnel were administering CPR to the male. Due to the unusual rain event happening on the playa, access to the area and investigative efforts were delayed. Reese was already pronounced dead by the time Pershing County Sheriff's Office deputies arrived at the scene. Pershing County Sheriff's Office did not immediately respond to our request for comment about this, and I didn't think they would. I tried. Being a former law enforcement officer, I try. At this point in time, a preliminary investigation is ongoing now, including interviewing witnesses to the event, but no one has come to any kind of determined cause of death of Mr. Reese. However, it does not appear that the weekend weather led to his death. A toxicology report is currently still underway. A day after Reese passed away, attendees were advised to conserve food and water and fuel and shelter in place. Shelter in a warm, safe space with access to and from the Black Rock Desert event that was closed due to the rainstorm that began on Friday. The area received 2 to 3 months worth of rain, up to 0.8 inches in just 24 hours between Friday and Saturday morning. The Burning Man website describes the city as a temporary metropolitan. Boy, I still can't speak. The website of Burning Man refers to this city there, and yes, it's a bustling city of 70,000+ people, as a temporary metropolis that's dedicated to community, art, self-expression, and self-reliance that attracts thousands of attendees every year. Travel Nevada notes that more than 70,000 people attend Burning Man annually. Thousands finally were able to leave Black Rock City Monday afternoon. Please know that while conditions are improving, roads are drying. The playa is still muddy and may be difficult to navigate in some neighborhoods and down certain streets. So that is still an ongoing event. Now, while I'm talking about emergencies, I found something that you might all be interested in. Emergency Essentials has something that they've come out with. Okay? Survival Cooking Simplified. BePrepared.com. Survival Cooking Simplified. Light, portable, no electricity needed, and you can cook anywhere, anytime. Okay? This is new, and I just found out about it. Okay? It's this device right here. It's called the Vesta. And I'm going to try somehow to get hold of this, hopefully within a decent time period. I don't have that kind of money right now, but I hope to get it. But I wanted to show you this because whether you're stuck inside during a power outage or lost in the dark or in the harsh woods, you'll need tools and supplies to cook food and to keep warm without electricity to rely on. This new device called the Vesta, it's a self-powered indoor space heater and stove by Instafire. It takes on double duty during a disaster. Get a space heater and a stove all in one with this new innovative Vesta unit. Plus, Emergency Essentials, BePrepared.com is including this. They said this bundle includes a 3-pack of canned heat and cooking fuel to power your Vesta unit. Boil water, cook meals, and more. Heat an area up to 200 square feet in size. Get 3 packs of canned heat to fuel your Vesta unit right now. They say this is supremely safe. Don't rely on propane appliances or gas generators to keep you warm during a disaster. Those things are inefficient, and worst of all, they're potentially deadly. The Vesta is a rare heating unit that's designed to run on Instafire 6-hour canned heat. When powered with canned heat, the Vesta is safe for indoor and outdoor use. It stays tucked away and out of harm's way. Whatever awaits you in the unpredictable outdoors, this Vesta unit may be the thing that we need to have. Plus, and this is a good thing, we've talked about generators before being outside and being noisy, where everybody would know that we have one. You're not going to see any smoke. You're not going to hear any noise, nor are you going to get any toxic fumes. You won't be tracked. You won't be traced or found whether you're camping out or bugging in, or even bugging out. Stay fed and fueled with the Vesta. Use your Vesta unit to prepare meals no matter where you're at. Boil water, fry up some eggs for breakfast, or just warm up a pot of soup with no trouble at all. Again, the Vesta. You can check it out at emergencyessentials.com. BePrepared.com. Okay? Check it out. I believe they have it right now for $99. Just so you know. Check it out at BePrepared.com. Emergency Essentials. All right. Now we've done that. And that is not a paid announcement, guys. I'm not getting anything from it. But I wanted you all to know about it because it appears to be a great deal. Okay? Check it out. Now, does anybody have any comments about anything we've talked about so far? Yeah, Susie Fujinaga says $99, great, I agree. Space Force Al says something's wrong with that festival site. It's an old nuke site. No, it's not an old nuke site. Yes, nukes were detonated just outside that area, But do I trust the ground out there? Not really. Not really. The link to purchase that is beprepared.com. Beprepared.com. They've got a lot of other things, including freeze-dried food. A lot of good things. Okay? Emergencyessentials.com. Does anybody have any questions about anything that we've talked about so far? I wanted to make sure that you had all this information. I think it's necessary. I think it's very necessary. That's why we've been talking about it for a very long time. Okay? Melba Hanska is here, says, good evening everyone, I'm late, but my husband was hungry too. Yeah, feed your husband. Feed your wife, your spouse, your best friend, your children. Not a problem. Raymond Roy Sr. says a pilot from 1968 rescued 2 Army guys from a field. Yes, there's a lot of stuff that went on back then and still does happen now. I reported on a rescue by the Coast Guard up in Alaska of a boat that was a tourist boat that ran aground next to a glacier in Alaska, and the Coast Guard rescued them off the glacier during the weekend. Anyway, guys, this is Baldwin Hills. Baldwin Hills is a oil and gas pumping operation. A huge oil and gas pumping operation just northwest of downtown Los Angeles. Notice what we're showing you here. Okay? We're showing you that they turned off the seismograph again. At about 11:36:37 this morning, they turned off the seismograph until 1 p.m. So for an hour and a half, no one got any information of what was happening in the Baldwin Hills. Folks, I always ask when I see stuff like this, why did you turn it off? Because, folks, I've gotten to the point I don't trust these people. Supposedly scientists, seismologists. But, folks, when they turn it off here in the Baldwin Hills, it usually means something else. Okay? I've talked about this before. When there has been an increase in seismic activity in Los Angeles area, the oil and gas pumping operations, the pumps and jacks, slow down. Why? Because the pressure, the oil pressure, the gas pressure at the site goes down when the seismicity increases. Okay? You don't see any earthquake seismic events increasing here on this seismograph. You don't see it. These are all steady as you go. But what happened with that hour and a half today, this morning, what happened to that time period? That's what I want to ask. Okay? That's what I want to ask. Now I want to go out to the desert. I'm doing this alphabetically, just to give you an idea of where I'm coming from with this. The seismographs that I'm showing you start out at 5 a.m. this morning and go through the rest of the day. Here you see sporadic tremors, long duration tremors here in Barstow. This is the San Andreas Fault here. Long duration tremors up here in Barstow. The San Andreas Fault is active. as I've told you before, there's a lot of energy that's sitting down there on the fault zone. It's been nearly 200 years since there's been any substantial movement on the San Andreas. So folks, what we're seeing there is a lot of energy, seismic energy locked up along the San Andreas Fault. And when we're seeing only tremors there, that's telling us that this energy is not just locked up, it's just barely moving. But given even this information here, this might point to us as a bigger issue. The energy's trying to get out, but it can't right now. So this is posing a bigger problem. When is this fault going to go? It has been known to unleash anywhere from a 6.5 to a 7.5 magnitude earthquake. A very strong to major earthquake here in the southland of Southern California. We know it's going to happen. It's literally when. It's literally when. Now, I want to show you further south. This is Cabazon, California. This is in what they call the Anza Gap, north of the Anza Borrego Desert State Park. Notice what we're seeing here. Look at all these tremors here. At the top of this seismogram, we're seeing 1.0 tremors, and it's moving. After 6:15 this morning, the tremors increased. At 6:30 this morning, you can see a substantial increase to 1.2, 1.3 tremors. Then you actually see minor earthquakes hitting here, all over this seismogram. Literally all over the seismogram. Tremors and earthquakes hitting here in Cabazon. Look what happened here after 3 p.m. this afternoon. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3:06 this afternoon. After it wasn't even 3:06, I'm sorry, it's 1:06. 1300 hours is 1 p.m. So this is 1:06 p.m. The tremors started increasing here. They went up from 1.2 and 1.3 significantly up to 1.3, 1.4 tremors. And from there, it went up to 1.5, 1.6 tremors. Then it got larger, 1.7, 1.8. And at one point in time here, about 1:09, 1:10 this afternoon, all of a sudden we had a 2.0 earthquake, and several of them. Several 2.0 earthquakes within just over about a minute and a half time period. Look at the other tremors and minor earthquakes we've had here. The needle on this seismogram, on the seismograph is just bouncing all over, isn't it? The seismogram shows all this information. Okay? This is just north of the Anza Borrego Desert State Park in northeast San Diego County. Okay? But you need to see the bigger puzzle here. Seismic energy is building up in the Cabazon area, as it is building up in northeast San Diego County. Okay? Now let's go out to the ocean, just off the coast of Los Angeles. This is Santa Catalina Island. All we're seeing here are tremors. 1.2, 1.3 tremors all over the seismograph today. Okay? All over the seismograph. Why? What's going on out here in the harbor, or out here just off the coast of Los Angeles? This, folks, is the Newport Inglewood Fault causing these tremors out here. The Newport Inglewood Fault out here. Okay? It's crazy. It really is. Now I want to go back inland over to Chino, California. Look what we're seeing here. From even the early hours of this morning, at 5 a.m. this morning, look what we're seeing. Tremors. 1.6, 1.7 tremors. No, I do not think we've had any full-blown earthquakes 2.0 or larger. However, guys, this is a lot of seismic activity nonetheless. Look at these tremors here in Chino, California. This is an increase in seismic activity here. This is a definite increase in seismic activity here in Chino, California. My friend Art lives there and he feels this stuff. Okay? Now, I want to take you back over to Elsinore, California. This is Orange County, California. Okay? This is Lake Elsinore. Okay? All we have here are just a bunch of tremors. Ongoing tremors. Some of them are 2.5 or 3 minutes long. Others are bouncing all over the place. We've had a lot of activity here in the past at Elsinore. Lake Elsinore is a burgeoning vacation spot for some people in the Orange County, LA area. Yes, it can be a beautiful lake, but in the summertime, there is no inlet or outlet for the water at Lake Elsinore. And as a result, the toxins in the water build up, and it becomes Lake Smellsmore. Lake Smellsmore. But you can see the tremors here in Lake Elsinore here in Orange County. It's literally building up all over Orange and Los Angeles. Okay? It's building up all over the place. Now, hold on just a second. Okay. I want to take you now over to Fox Airport in Lancaster. Still, this is out in the desert. Look what we're seeing here. Again, a bunch of tremors. There are no full-blown earthquakes out here in Lancaster at all today. Okay? This is what happens when the San Andreas Fault gets going. Just a bunch of tremors, just like we've seen at the other places so far. That's going to change once it moves further south. Let's take a look now at Idlewild in the San Bernardino National Forest. This is Idlewild. This is a tourist trap. This is a ski resort town. This is a hiker's resort during the summer. People like to come here and shop. People like to come here and stay. It's a tourist trap. There's beautiful A-frame cabins. There's also bed and breakfast there you can stay in. Beautiful area. But look what we're seeing here. Okay? This is also in the Anza Gap. You see all of these tremors here. For the most part, all it is 1.3, 1.4 tremors, and less than that. But as you can see, the seismicity is increasing. The seismicity is increasing regardless of what the USGS says on their maps. They never tell us the truth on their maps. Okay? So that's Idlewild. Let's go back over to the coast of Laguna Bell. Look at this. This is also an increase in seismic activity in Laguna Bell along the coast. Okay? 1.2, 1.3, even 1.4 tremors here. All over. And it's continuing. It's continuing. Almost every minute of every day, the seismic activity continues here. It doesn't slow down. It doesn't stop. Okay? That's Laguna Bell. Let's take you over now to the Anaheim, Long Beach area. This is light height. This is light height. This is continued tremor activity here. Yes, in places we've had 2.0 earthquakes, minor earthquakes. There are no major earthquakes. There's not even a huge increase in earthquakes here. Every once in a while you can see a 2.0 minor earthquake here. But look at all these tremors. It's almost non-stop. You almost don't see any white of the paper behind these tremors. It's non-stop. It's getting to be that kind of time. Literally non-stop. Now, there's one other place not far from here. One other place called State Street. State Street has always been active. Always been active. There are times when it's not as active as it was the day before or possibly the day before that. But it always comes back. And as you can see here, there was some time early this morning where it wasn't very active. As is the case here in the Los Angeles area, as soon as the sun starts coming up, the seismic activity continues and it gets larger here. And that's what we're seeing here. 2.0, 2.5 earthquakes here. Look at the top on the blue line. Okay? Look at the top at the blue line. This is 5:33 a.m. this morning. That, folks, is at least a 2.5 earthquake. A 2.5 earthquake. We may have had several of these today, at least 2 or 3 of them, at least that I can see here on this seismogram. Those are still good sized earthquakes. Okay? But that's a lot of tremors, guys. That's a ton of tremors here in the Long Beach, Anaheim area. Let's continue. I want to go north to Los Alamos County Park. Okay? It's not often we can go out here and see this. Look at the tremors happening in Los Alamos. Isn't that interesting? All over the place, guys. All over the place. Now, it doesn't happen every 5 minutes. It doesn't happen every 10 minutes. But it does happen. It does happen. Folks, this is an area nowhere near the major earthquake centers. Nowhere near the San Andreas Fault It's nowhere near the Gorda Escarpment. Of course, that's way up north. It's nowhere near the major epicenters of seismic activity are. Except there are ancillary faults all over the Los Angeles area, and that's where this comes from. Los Alamos County Park here is on one of those ancillary faults, and it is moving. That's why we have this movement here. It is moving. Now, I want to take you over to the LA City County building. Look what we have here this morning. I'm going to blow it up so you can see it. Look what we have here. This is just after 9 a.m. Pacific time this morning. You see an increase in minor tremors here. You see an increase in minor tremors. And this continues all the way out to 9:13 a.m. this morning. At 9:13, we see a bunch of tremors. Then it calms down for almost a minute, and then we have a 2.8 earthquake. A minor 2.8, maybe a 3.0 earthquake. This is in downtown Los Angeles. We haven't seen this happen at the City County building here in Los Angeles for a very long time. So this is new information. Now, if the USGS sees this, the city officials and the county officials in Los Angeles should be knocking over their doors. Hey guys, this happened. This may be a sign of something bigger happening, Mr. Mayor. And the emergency manager in the basement of this facility should know what he's seeing here. This is definitely an increase in seismicity at the City County building in downtown LA. Let's go out east again. This is just west of Loma Linda Medical Center. This is Mira Loma, California. Look what we're seeing here. Definitely an increase in seismic activity here at Mira Loma. And just after 7:42 a.m. this morning, we had a few 2.0 earthquakes here on the blue line. Okay? 2.0 minor earthquakes, as well as a ton of tremors. Ongoing, not stopping tremors. Most of this was 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, even not 2 pointers, but 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 tremors. And then all of a sudden, just after 7:43 a.m. this morning, all of a sudden we have 2.0 earthquakes. Okay? Richard Smith says, heavy metal rock and roll, wow. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. My friend Carolyn Martin is here from Denver. She's here in the chat. She's talking about a very strong 6.3 earthquake in the South Pacific. That is a big earthquake. 6.3 is a very strong earthquake. 6.0, 6.9 are considered to be very strong earthquakes. Okay? We may be seeing more and more very strong earthquakes in the coming days, and maybe even for the next week or so there in the South Pacific. This is what happens when we get those sixes hitting down there in the South Pacific. It's not just one. Some of the time it's 2, 3, and even 5 or 6 that happens. But this is Mira Loma on the eastern side of the LA Basin. Okay? So there's that. Let's go over to northwest Los Angeles to Moore Park. Look at all the tremors hitting here. And even here, we're seeing 2.0 earthquakes. 2.0 earthquakes, ongoing steady tremors. About every minute and a half to 2 minutes. Ongoing steady tremors, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we have some 2.0 earthquakes. Most of the day today. Okay? Yes, Heather says they downgraded that 6.8. They downgraded it. You know, I talk about it, and I've confronted the USGS. Oh, but it wasn't that strong. That's why we downgraded it. Oh, right. Uh-huh. Don't believe it, guys. There's a method to their madness. And they don't want to, shall I say, admit anything. And heaven forbid that they would admit to any wrongdoing there. They wouldn't. They won't. They never do. They never do. Anyway, that's Moore Park. How about Pardee? Look at Pardee. This is out in that same area. Look at that. A lot of tremors all over this area. And down at the bottom on that bottom blue line there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 7 minutes later. This is happening at 2:37 p.m. this afternoon. That's a 2.5 earthquake. A 2.5 earthquake out there at Pardee. A bunch of tremors other than that, and over on the top right-hand side I see at least a 2.0, 2.3 earthquake on the black line there. Okay? This would be just about 6:14 p.m. or 6:14 a.m. this morning over on the top right. So we're seeing a few seismic increases here. Moore Park, Pardee area. It's happening. Let's go over here to the northwest coast of Los Angeles, up to Playa del Rey and Marina del Rey area. All we're seeing here is a reduced seismic event here. For weeks and weeks, months and months, we had 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 tremors consistently, on and on and on and on and on. Every minute of every day, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 tremors. Now, we might be able to see 1.1, 1.2, and that's all. There's nothing larger than that. The seismicity has gone down here in the Playa del Rey, Marina del Rey area. For whatever reason, it's gone down. Let's go over to let's see, Rancho Palos Verdes. Rancho Palos Verdes. This is over on the west side of LA, the LA Basin, right before it gets to the harbor. Look at this. Folks, all we've seen here is an occasional tremor. But you can see every line here, an increase in tremor activity. Yes, it's hit and miss for anything 1.4, 1.5. But all of this is microquake activity. Almost all of it is microquake with an occasional increase in 1.0, 1.1 tremors. Right here we have like 5 or 6 tremors, 1.4, 1.5 tremors. We almost have a 1.7 here, down here this afternoon after 1:40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 1:51 p.m. this afternoon here on the green line. This may be close to a 2.0 earthquake, but I think it's maybe 1.8 tremor. Okay? So just a little bit of seismic activity in Rancho Palos Verdes. Let's move on here to Rancho Mirage out into the desert area again. This is the San Andreas Fault out in the desert east of Los Angeles, way out into the desert east of LA. Rick Silva just gave us another $10 super chat, guys. Thank you, Rick. We really appreciate that. God bless you, Rick. Rick is a dear friend of mine. He says, thanks, Ron. Thanks, Ron. Occasionally I'll get a message from Rick in chat, in one of my chats or my chat threads, and I love hearing from Rick and his wife. They are truly amazing people. One of these days I hope to attend some events with them that they go to. They are very religious, Christ-fearing people, and I love them. I love Rick and his wife. Very good people. So thanks, Rick, for that $10 super chat. We appreciate it. God bless you, brother. Really do appreciate those things. But anyway, this is Rancho Mirage out in the desert. This is the San Andreas Fault moving out there in the desert. As you can see, the further south it gets in Southern California, the seismicity increases. Look at the tremors here. Look at the tremors here. This is increasing. Yes, folks, we're going to get a larger earthquake hitting here on the San Andreas Fault here in Southern California. It's a matter of time. It's literally a matter of time. Okay? I've been looking at this and looking at it, and I can't help but say, my gosh, guys, it's just a matter of time the San Andreas is going to let go. Rinaldi, over in Los Angeles, Rinaldi, tremors all over the place here. Look at this. Tremors everywhere. None of this is microquake activity, guys. These are tremors, ongoing 1.1, 1.2, and occasionally up to 1.4, 1.5 tremors here at Rinaldi in Los Angeles. Let's continue here. Let's go over to Rio Hondo. Look at this. Rio Hondo in the past, guys, we occasionally get some tremors every once in a while. During the past 2 or 3 years, folks, the seismicity has increased at Rio Hondo. Look at the tremors here. It's non-stop tremors. Yes, at night, in the early morning hours of the night after midnight, it kind of settles down a little bit. Then just before or right at sunrise, the tremors increase here. You can see it. Every day it's the same thing. We're seeing 1.4, 1.5 tremors constantly here. We may even have some larger tremors than that, but this is constant, consistent, ongoing tremors here in this area. Okay? Rio Hondo is seeing an increase here as well. Again, the San Andreas Fault is further out east. But over here, the ancillary faults in Los Angeles Basin are picking up seismic events. And I can't help but think that the San Andreas Fault is, what shall I say, spawning some of this. I believe it's spawning some of it. You can't help but believe that. Okay? Before I go down in further into San Diego County or over into the Imperial County of California, I want to stop over in Hemet. Hemet area, guys, is over in Orange County. It's a very rural area. There are farms growing lettuce and cabbage and all kinds of small vegetables. All kinds of small vegetables over here in this area. There's also some small ranches with small animals. Upwards of a horse, donkeys, you see emus and ostriches. Some cattle are over here in the valleys over here near Hemet. But it's a bustling community as well. There are a lot of homes there. What are we seeing here in Hemet? Definitely an increase in seismicity. It's not just tremors here. We're seeing even upwards of a 2.0 earthquake here. Off and on all over the place here in Hemet. Okay? It's going. You can see that here. But at least 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 tremors, and then I believe there may be even a 2.0 here. It's moving. That eastern area of the Orange County area is moving, and it's moving in a significant fashion. Now I want to go over to San Diego County. I used to live there. I loved the San Diego experience. It was absolutely beautiful. This is over just north of the Mission Valley Center, which is a huge mall, an outdoor mall in San Diego. This is the San Diego County Gas and Electric Building. They call it San Diego Mission Control. Yeah, this is where they control all the electricity all over San Diego County. It's a huge control center. Look at the seismic events happening here. These are tremors here. Remember I told you we had seismic events happening out in the ocean waters off the coast of Los Angeles? The Newport-Inglewood Fault. Well, folks, just south of the Newport-Inglewood area off the coast of LA, we have another fault zone that connects with the Newport-Inglewood. It's called the Rose Canyon Fault Zone. The Rose Canyon Fault pretty much stays out in the ocean until it reaches North San Diego County in the vicinity of Encinitas. In Encinitas, the Rose Canyon Fault starts going inland. It remains inland until it reaches downtown San Diego, at which time in downtown San Diego, the Rose Canyon Fault goes out into San Diego Harbor and over towards Coronado Naval Air Station. Here at San Diego Gas and Electric, we're showing the Rose Canyon Fault moving here. I don't believe we have any earthquakes, but we may have had a near earthquake earlier today. This happened just after 1 p.m. today on the black line on the left, on the lower left of this seismograph. Okay, I believe this is probably a 1.6, 1.7 tremor. Okay, I don't think it was a 2.0 earthquake, but it's getting close. It's getting very close. You can see these tremors all over the place here in San Diego. San Diego is indeed moving. It is moving. Over on the east side of San Diego County, we have a couple other seismographs that monitor seismic activity on the eastern side of San Diego County. One of them is at Pechanga Casino, just east of El Cajon. This is Pechanga Casino, guys, and it doesn't stop moving. What we're seeing at Pechanga Casino, Pechanga Casino here in San Diego County, this is evidence of seismic activity occurring on the Elsinore Fault out here. The Elsinore Fault. Now, while we didn't have any earthquake activity at Palomar Observatory, which is where the big huge telescope is, that's also the Elsinore Fault. Out here we do. Out here you see the significant tremors here. It's off and on, but it's significant tremors hitting there nonetheless. Okay? So we're seeing seismic activity out here. It doesn't stop. The next place I want to take you is over east of here in the Cuyamaca Mountains. This is east of Julian. I didn't see any earthquake activity, no tremors, no nothing in Julian today. But this is Cuyamaca High School at the top of the Chocolate Mountains out here. Cuyamaca High School. They actually have a seismograph at the school, and I think that's great because the earth science teachers can explore with the students exactly what's going on here. This, folks, is a different earthquake fault. This is a San Jacinto fault that is causing these tremors here. You can see this is happening here. We see an increase in seismicity here, and the increase in tremors. It's happening all over, guys. It literally is happening all over. Now, I want to go out to the Imperial County area. In the Imperial County, you're going to see a marked increase in seismic activity. You can't help but not see it. I want to show you, where do I want to show you first? Okay, I showed you Cuyamaca High School. If we continue southeast off the Chocolate Mountains, near the base of the Chocolate Mountains, near Interstate 8, there is a park out there in Ocotillo Wells. It's called Ocotillo Park. And even here you can see an increase in seismic activity here. Okay? 1.5, 1.9 tremors here. You can see the seismic activity happening here. This is an increase of activity, probably more than we've seen here in a very long time. Again, this is a San Jacinto Fault here. The San Jacinto Fault. It's moving all over the place. It really is. Now, I want to show you another spot here. Before I go too much further here. I was hoping I had it here. Right here. This is over on the west side of the Salton Sea. This is called Salton City, Salton Beach. This is over about 20 miles south from the north side of the Salton Sea. This used to be a bustling small town here. Anymore, it's nothing but old ruins. Mobile homes have been let go. Wooden piers, wooden fences that have gotten knocked over. But you still see tremors here. Look at this. This is tremors. Remember these ongoing tremors we've had here? They continue. It's gotten less though. In the past few weeks we've seen an increase here, and now it is a lot less. Okay? Maybe all in all it might be 2 or 3 1.1 tremors, and that's about it. Most of the activity here is microquake activity. Not much is happening at Salton City, but there's a lot of other things going on here around the Salton Sea. Let's go over and take a look at El Centro. El Centro Naval Air Station. I want to show you what is going on there. Here we're seeing 3.0, 3.5, even I believe a 4.0 earthquake that happened here today. That 4.0 earthquake happened today just after 2:23 p.m. today on that blue line. That blue line continues up and up and up here. Yes, we've had seismic activity after 1:30, after 12:30, even after 11:30 a.m. this morning. But folks, this is a thick earthquake, meaning the seismic energy did not stop shaking for at least 30-40 seconds. That's definitely a busy earthquake. And you can see the other earthquakes happening here at El Centro Naval Air Station as well. Okay, look at that. Look at the tremors and look at these large earthquakes. All over the place here at El Centro Naval Air Station. It's a big deal. It's huge, guys. Let's go east to Westmoreland, California. Westmoreland, California is a town of maybe, I want to say 8,000 or 10,000 people. Westmoreland isn't what it was, but I don't think Westmoreland will get much bigger than it is. Westmoreland continues to move. Look at this. Look at the tremors here. Folks, this is the San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault comes down the east side of the Salton Sea. Over at Bombay Beach, the San Andreas Fault goes underneath the Salton Sea. At the southern edge of the Salton Sea, the San Andreas Fault, or what they call the Imperial Fault, leaves from underneath the water there and continues south for a mile or so and until it gets down to Calipatria, at which time the San Andreas Fault, or the Imperial Fault as they call it, turns in a southwesterly direction and goes down to Westmoreland. And here in Westmoreland, you're seeing the tremors here that are hitting on the San Andreas Fault. That's what we're seeing here. These are all tremors from the San Andreas Fault here. Yes, we've had some 1.5s, 1.6s, but I think that's as big as it got here. Still an awful lot of activity. Let's go over now to Bombay Beach. I love Bombay Beach. Like I said, that's where the San Andreas, or what they call the Imperial Fault, goes underneath the water here at the Salton Sea. Let's show you Bombay Beach. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Here we're seeing 3.5s. 3.5 earthquakes, at least a 3.5. Several of them. Several of them. You see tremors building up to 2.0 earthquakes and manifesting themselves as 3.0, even 3.5 earthquakes here. Now, you also see where the agency has come and topped and bottomed off these seismic signals here. Okay? They don't want anybody to know what's actually happening. It's sad that they're doing this. This is on the San Andreas Fault. We know darn well what is going on the San Andreas Fault and what's going on as it continues further into Southern California. We know that for a matter of a fact. These are good-sized quakes. 3.0, 3.5, some of them as much as a 4.0 moderate earthquake. That's what's going on here. Now you can see one earthquake standing by itself there. Standing by itself. This is at approximately 11:56 a.m. this morning. That, folks, is a 3.0 earthquake. A 3.0. And you can see where these other earthquakes are as well. They're definitely not 3.0 status. They're larger. Okay? They're larger. And unfortunately, the agency does not want anybody to realize what is going on. It's sad. It really is a sad day when the agency plays these games. These penny-ante games of look what this earthquake is, or look what it isn't. We saw that 6.8 being topped down to what? A 6.3? Yeah. It's pretty stupid, actually. Pretty stupid. Because when a larger earthquake hits, they're going to have egg on their face because they did not leave it alone. Did I just leave it alone? Anyway, there's that. Let me show you something else that's happened here as well. Okay? This is the town of Imperial. South of Westmoreland, there's a town called Imperial. Imperial is a town of maybe 5,000 to 10,000 people. Fairly small town. but you can see what's happened here. Folks, this is over right smack dab on top of the Imperial Fault as it leaves out of Westmoreland. Okay? You can see the earthquakes hitting here. For the most part, they're just tremors here. Constant ongoing tremor activity here. But I believe we've had a couple 2.5, 3.0 earthquakes here. At least a couple. On this red line, this is just after 11:40 a.m. this morning. Over here on the center right hand side. Okay? If those aren't 3.0 earthquakes, they're close to it. They're close to it. You can see what's happening. This is a lot of activity there in the town of Imperial. This is a ton. This literally is a ton of activity happening in Imperial County, California. It's sad because the people are losing here. Some people have left there because they don't want to be anywhere near this place when the San Andreas Fault goes. This, folks, guys, this is Holtville. This is a Salton Sea Desert Research Station in Holtville, California. You can see the tremors hitting here. Some of these tremors are very large, even upwards of 2.0, 2.5 earthquakes. And here in Imperial County, in this particular location, this is not good. Holtville is a small, sleepy little city. Maybe a town of 15,000 people. I've been there many times. For them to have this many tremors, it's incredible. Folks, you can't possibly live there and not feel what's going on. Some kind of motion going on beneath your feet every day. Some kind of motion going on beneath your feet every day. The ground's moving. It's not moving in a great way, but it's moving. And everybody knows it. Everyone there knows it. I can't help but feel sorry for them. I know what is going to happen here. We have that good sized earthquake fault on the east side of the Salton Sea. We know what's going on. It's going to rupture. It's going to rupture in a very big way here in Southern California. It's about time. Folks, this is sorry. This is too bad. These agencies would wake up. It would help. But they don't want anybody to know what's actually going on. Now, there's two more seismograms that I want to show you. And one of them is over there, and I spoke of it a minute ago, in Calipatria, California. I'm going to show it to you. I don't want you to be really surprised by it. We talk about it all the time. Okay? Just a second. Salton Sea, Calipatria, California. A lot of people don't even understand what's going on, which is sad. If you only knew what I'm feeling right now. Because folks, people got to be aware of it. People need to be aware of it. This, folks, is a seismogram that we get from Caltech. This seismogram started recording information at 11:45 p.m. last night. And you can see the tremors here. We may have had two 2.0 earthquakes here. Those red lines here are computer generated, telling the seismologist, hey, you need to look at this. But just after 9:30 p.m., over on the left-hand side you see 9:15, 21:15, 21:30, and then they shut the seismograph off. They shut the seismograph off from 9:15 p.m. till later today. This, folks, over here on the bottom, this shows seismic energy after they turned it back on just after 7:40 this morning. About 7:40 this morning. Look at the earthquakes and tremors here. Yes, we have some 1.8, 2.3, 2.5, 2.8 earthquakes. You can see them here. Yeah, we have some 2.2s, 2.3s as well. But you can see these earthquakes happening here. Folks, this is the San Andreas Fault here. After the San Andreas Fault comes out from underneath the Salton Sea. What happened to the other hours here? 8 hours worth of time here gone. There are a lot more earthquakes than that here. Why are they not telling us about it? Suspicious people have suspicious thoughts. I have a good idea of why. Okay? This is sad. It's so darn sad it's not funny. Folks, I want to show you something else that I forgot to show you when I was talking about Los Angeles. I want to show you about a volcano over in Los Angeles. It's called Walnut La Puente. Walnut La Puente, California. Look what we're getting here. Just like we saw at the Salton Sea, just like we used to see over at Mount Shasta, LMO seismograph on the north side of Mount Shasta used to show us this much activity every day. They've turned it off. Turned off the seismograph. We haven't seen anything from the LMO seismograph in years now. at least 2 or 3 years. Okay? Yeah, it's pretty sad. This is at Walnut La Puente in Los Angeles. Look at this. These are 3.5, 4.0 magnitude earthquakes in Los Angeles County. Walnut La Puente. Off the charts. It's not just tremors. Yes, we do have some tremors there. But all these big earthquakes here, these are 3.0, 3.5, upwards of 4.5 magnitude earthquakes, literally all day long, on and off again, here at this location. Yes, we have a volcano here. We do have a volcano here. And it's not stopping. Every day is the same thing. Every day is the same thing here. Look at that. Down here at the bottom here in the blue. Okay? That's after 2:40 p.m. this afternoon. Folks, the top's cut off, the bottom's cut off. This is at least a 3.5, 4.0 earthquake. Just this bottom one alone. And I'm going to tell you the others are as well. Okay? Los Angeles has volcanoes. Los Angeles has magma flowing underground headed east. It has magma tunnels underneath the entire city with magma flowing underneath them headed east. Volcanoes in New Mexico, volcanoes in Arizona, volcanoes that are headed up to Yellowstone. I shouldn't say volcanoes, magma channels that are headed up towards Yellowstone. Okay? This is really what we're seeing here in the Southern California area. Yes, we're going to see a big earthquake here. I can promise you. I can promise you. I studied it. I've seen things happen. Every day that I hear things come out of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, every day I hear things coming from Caltech, USGS in LA. I'm going, okay, it's a matter of time. I've shown you 2.0s, even 3.0s over in the Anaheim, Long Beach area. State Street and Light Hype are going, guys. They're going. It's just a matter of time before all this does go. And we see a major earthquake in Los Angeles. It's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. I know for a fact it's going to happen. I'm seeing it happen. I'm showing you what's going on now. Folks, I felt impressed tonight to talk about one of my favorite scriptures tonight. It's over in Colossians chapter 3, verses 23 and 24. And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, as to the Lord and not unto man. Do it heartily to the Lord, not unto man. If you do it unto your boss or people that work with you, they're going to say, oh, he's just trying to get favor with somebody else. Do it to the Lord. Let the other people think whatever they want to think. Work as you always would at your job or anything that you do. Work heartily. Give your job your entire heart, might, mind, and strength. Work heartily unto the Lord. In verse 24, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance. If we work hard, we will receive the reward of the inheritance. For ye serve the Lord Christ. That is truly my feeling. We serve Jesus Christ. The scripture says, when you're in the service of your fellow man, you're only in the service of your God. I echo that. Brothers and sisters, I love you. I've strived to tell you what is going on around you so that you can be aware of it. Los Angeles is due a 7.0 earthquake. It's a matter of time. You see, I've shown you seismic energy all over the Southern California area, from north of Los Angeles around Santa Barbara south to the Mexican border. It's going. It's literally when it happens. It's going to happen. I hope you've had a wonderful day. I want to thank all those who have contributed to our program tonight, whether it's people helping your family members here in the chat, or those of you that have donated contributions to our program. We appreciate that ever so much, and I want to thank you for that. God bless you for that, helping me get things taken care of here, so I can continue to keep this program on the air. I appreciate that. Again, I want to thank Donna Howard. I want to thank the Adair family in Oceanside, California. And I want to thank the person that goes by Gotta Catch 'em All. Gotta Catch 'em All. Thank you so much. God bless you all. May God be with you. May God inspire you. I hope and pray that God can inspire you and give you what you need to keep going with what you're doing, helping your family, helping those around you. I want you to share this program with everybody that you know, your family and extended family, the people you know and love, your friends and neighbors, the people you work with, and even your social media contacts. Share this program. There isn't anything here that you need to be afraid of. Everything here on this program is evidence of what's going on around us. The people in Hawaii deserve our help. Please share this program with everybody you know. God bless you all. God bless you all tonight. That whatever happens tonight, you'll be able to get through it. If anything else happens tonight that we need to talk about, we'll be back here on the air to talk about it as soon as the information becomes available. Until then, have a great night and a better tomorrow. We will see you tomorrow evening just after 6 p.m. Eastern Time. God bless you. Elizabeth Pansloff just gave us another $10 super chat. Thank you so much for that. Got in right under the line here. God bless you. We appreciate that. God be with you, folks, this day and always. God bless you. God be with you till we meet again. Good night, everybody. We'll see you around the corner. Sorry about that. I know what I'm doing. I really do. Here we go.